I don't know what you want me to say. They have the tables of new vinyl there that you should check out. And it's a pretty awesome locally owned business. These are all facts about Culture Shock. It's open 12 to 8 daily. It's currently open right now, and there's music happening in there.
Well, me and Hippie used to go all the time. All these pains and aches, no hospital can mend.
Alright, so how did Culture Shock get started?
Well, there's a long story with it. It had been around for a few months. A friend of mine had opened it up with his brother-in-law, and they were pretty much filing bankruptcy. They were going broke. And me and him had the idea to open up years before, but he did it. And it didn't work out, so I had a chance to buy the place and what was there, and not much was left of it. And I kind of just jumped into it head first and bought it outright and started changing everything around, putting more of my taste in it, and got rid of all the old merchandise and just started it kind of as a fresh business about 4 years ago. And started getting more music and art inspired clothing, and just trying to get people interested in having a locally owned store that had, you know, music related items and accessories and just cool things, hats, a place to hang out, a place to get music. It was a rough couple weeks actually trying to get the store because I hadn't anticipated having my own store. I was working at a regular corporate job, had no money saved up. I was making good money, but I spent everything that I had. I still really don't have any credit, so I had to buy the business. I had to get a loan through a friend of mine and get a loan on my own, but it wasn't very much, and through my brother-in-law. And I did. Even though I was working full-time, I started researching everything. I've never worked in retail even. I just, you know, I had some ideas for some cool stuff I wanted, but I had no idea how to go about it. And I wanted to buy the business so nobody else would, because I'm sure it would have failed again if somebody else got it. So I just started researching companies, going to other stores, talking to people in Milwaukee and Chicago, and trying to get an idea of what I could do. And I, you know, scraped together, you know, a few $1,000s and got the business, and then scraped another few thousand together to get some merchandise in, and started, you know, at my other job I even started working on MySpace and stuff to let people know, and at the place I was working at, giving out cards and telling people to come in and check it out, and just little by little just started growing. And just started from day one. It was a rough time, no sleep, working both jobs. I'm just trying to figure out what to get into the store.
What do I think about it? I think happy thoughts about it every day. They have records. I like records. And I buy my jeans here and my shoes because I don't like the chain stores. Yeah.
I like Culture Shack because it's a local store, and I feel a lot better giving my money to local businesses than big evil corporations. I can just go to Skylar and be like, hey, I want this, and he'll get it for me.
We have different goals in mind, I think. We just want more for the community, more for youthful, spirited people, not necessarily people who are young, but people who want to stay active, do more with like the music scene, and just something to get out and do, something to keep you from being bored or saying, I hate this place. And I just want people to really be into that. If it's a store, if it's a band, if it's a scene, that's a good thing. So I think that's important. And we've encouraged people, everyone we know and all of our customers to try to support other local businesses. If they come in trying to find something we don't have, I want to make sure they don't end up going to a corporate store or a store that's going to, rip them off or give them crappy shoes, whatever, whatever they're looking for that we don't have.
How did the flood affect Culture Shack?
It sucked. It ruined the building, and it's a rented space. I didn't own it, so I couldn't really do a lot of the work on my own. They wanted to do the work on it, on their time, but they wanted to wait for all the owners of the building wanted to wait for the insurance to reimburse them before they did any work. But that really affected the store because it looked like trash and it smelled bad from all the water. I tore up all the carpet and it just looked like glue and asbestos tiles all over, and the drywall was all torn up and it just sucked. I had like a couple sidewalk sales. I moved all the merchandise outside when we were tearing out drywall because there's so much dust. And I really stayed open through the flood. Like even the day of the flood, there's water all over the floor, and like some people came over the area and they wanted to go and look around. I said, go ahead. But it took a couple months like that. A couple months, like a lot of people, it just looked like this whole side of the Rockford was closed. All the buildings were messed up. There's sticks and trash, and like all the big dumpsters floated down the road, and there's garbage everywhere. And our building was so messed up. People would come in. We had tarps up where the drywall work was being done, and they would kind of leave and say, we'll come back later. And I had a couple months of like horrible sales and like no money coming in almost. And I ended up getting another part-time job then after I left my first job to just try to get some money and get ready, because I was determined to have stuff in the store by that Christmas, our first Christmas. Younger people, but a lot of the punk rock crowd really came together for us, and even though we didn't have much, they were finding things to buy, wallets, back patches, shirts, and we didn't have much product in the first year I was open, especially. The flood happened in August, and then the building wasn't really fixed until October. It took them like 2 months to get my carpet done and everything else. It sucked. So then it was October and November when it was finally done, and I really wanted people to start coming there for Christmas, and I got gift cards from the credit card company we were carrying, and all the punk rock kids, that we know, like, the Screw City crowd especially, and those guys, were really supportive because most of them were still in high school, I think. A lot of them were, and they said they wanted gift cards from Culture Shack. That was like the best thing. That was like almost a savior after the flood, because we were so slow for a couple months, because people didn't want to shop during the store looked messed up, and our landlords were being really annoying and about taking care of things. So people would be like, oh, I'll just come back when everything's fixed up. And I'll be like, oh, we're still open, you can look. But they'd be like, okay, I'll come back later. So it was super disappointing, and I was like getting really broke.
It's my privilege to introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Warren and Skylar Davis.
Lauren was actually living above Delicious Ink Tattoo, which is right next to Culture Shock. She was living in the apartment upstairs there. And I knew a lot of people she went to school with coming to the store, and I knew a couple of people who were living with her. And I guess the first time we met was actually...
My friends were all hanging out with him and all talking to him all the time, and they were like, you should go down to that store down there, it's pretty cool. So one time I ducked in there for a second and pretended to look at some things, and then I ran out. Because, everyone's always in love with Skylar, and they're always like, Skylar's like the coolest guy ever. So, but I still didn't even talk to him.
But eventually we started talking a little bit, and before you knew it, we were kind of dating. And as soon as we were dating, she was hanging out in the store a lot, and obviously there's like a bunch of punk rock shirts and just guys stuff. It had no woman's touch to it. And she started arranging the store, and then she just started working there and helping out. And that's kind of how we met and started living together, dating, and working together. It's probably like December, so a few months after the store was open.
He told me he'd show me how to make the perfect cup of coffee or something, which isn't true because he doesn't even drink coffee. Yeah. Swept me off my feet.
We're just best friends, you know. We give each other a lot of crap, you know. We argue and complain and things like that, but we get along great. We work together, live together. Everything we do, we think about each other, and now we're married. We were pretty much married before, but now it's an even more secure thing. And I don't know. She just knows me really well. I just feel totally open. She feels the same way with me. So it's a good relationship, I would say.
When you meet someone that you can spend that many hours with every day, you were meant to be best friends. You can't just fake that or make it work. If you spend that long together every day, you're supposed to be together. Well, eventually Skylar and I have always wanted to open up a venue or a coffee shop, or even like a block of stores, like where it's all music and art inspired, art related things, where people, you know, want to come to in Rockford. And we both get kind of tired of people saying they hate Rockford because, you know, some people here are actually trying to make a difference, and Rockford's really not that bad when you put it into perspective. There's a lot of crime, and there's a lot of Rockford haters that live in Rockford, and that's probably the worst part about it. But as far as music goes, there's lots of bands. They're all trying to make it, and if there's a little bit more support, we could, you know, all pull together and all pull all of our stores together and make something big. And that's what we hope for in the future, is to maybe buy a building that we can have a bunch of different cool artist stores or music stores in, and, you know, gather all the cool people that you know, want to see that change for Rockford all in the same place.
Well, it's really cool because it used to be just this one little room, but before I even knew anything about it at all, I would play a show in Freeport at this big, like, amphitheater, and I never played a show like that because I just played, like, little rooms and stuff like that. And there was probably, like, 50 people there, but the place can hold, like, thousands of people, so, like, it was kind of crazy because it looked really empty, like every other show that I played, but, like, it was, but Skylar came up and he's like, dude, like, we want to get your CDs in our store, and no one's ever told me that. Normally I'm the one who's going, hey, do you want to put my CDs in your store? And, like, and ever since then he's been really supportive. And the crowd that was here tonight, no one would know about me if it wasn't for Skylar and Lauren. We played a show in Beloit, played a show out here, had our CD release show. There was like over 100 people here. Like, to me, like, it meant a lifetime of awesome, because I go and play shows in Chicago, and, you know, you get like, you know, 10, 15 people. Every once in a while you get like 60 or something, but out here, like, he's really, like, kind of got the word out. And I don't want to talk about myself, but, like, what he does for, like, the community out here, and what Lauren and Skylar do for the community is huge. Like, because, like, when I was a kid, we never had anything like that out here. It was just like nothing. You know, you can go to the thrift store and hope you find an old record. Really, I mean.
Yeah, it's cool. That way people don't have to go out of town to get cool stuff. Because it's either you go online or you have to, like, drive, like, to Madison, or Chicago is the closest place you can get anything like what's in here, pretty much. So, yeah, and that sucks.
No, Skylar and Lauren are great people, good promoters of the local music in town, and
Well, I have to say, I'm kind of proud of us. I feel like we started from nothing. When I first met Skylar, it was about 5 months after he had purchased the store, and there was still nothing in there. And from the minute I became friends with him, I was helping out there, like Windexing or doing something and trying to clean up the store and make it look more presentable. And we've just basically come from nothing to something in the last 4 years.
Remain calm as every breath's laced with napalm. Survive the next 24 and pray till the weight's gone. I'm stressed as hell and heaven's liaison. Primates got me playing in the streets like game on. Always lost, that's probably why it's called falling off. I'm getting too old to ignore the cost. Scarred skin full of stories and some morbid thoughts. But it's a new day before me every morning. Toss the albatross that I've lost in the stormy seas. Come down from my cross, feel the warmy breeze. Embrace shortcomings, we're all born disease. Stay moving even though my feet get sore and bleed. No pouring beads, never let him see us sweat.